Hey, it's Coach Vic, certified land investor. Glad to be here with you. This week, I decided to do something different. Instead of going live like I normally do, I'm going to try a pre-recorded video because most of you guys seem to watch this at your own leisure anyway, so why not make it at my own leisure? Anyways, this week I'm going to talk about what you need to do if you want to get funding from somebody else. All right, so I'm going to keep this video short, so I know your time is valuable and so is mine. I have a basketball game to coach pretty soon anyway, so let's get into it. First things first, know your numbers. Now, I think it was maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I reposted a video to my TikTok, and if you don't have my TikTok, you need to jump on it, Victor D. Reynolds. But it was about this wholesaler who tried to finesse me. Long story short, he was trying to sell me a property that I was actually going to buy maybe 2 or 3 years prior. And at the time when I was going to buy it, I was going to buy the property for roughly $900, maybe even less than that. It was something very, very cheap. And then the plan was to sell it for about, $2,500, $3,000. This clown actually tried to get me to buy that same exact property, which I passed on. And the reason why I passed on it was too many taxes. So basically, the amount of taxes versus the worth, it just didn't make sense anymore. Anyway, this clown tried to make me buy this property for, get this, $18,000. All right, now, I know you're holding your sides and you're slapping your knees from laughter, but the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I was like, well, why would I pay you that money when I can get that same property, literally, not just a similar one, but the same one for cheaper? He obviously didn't have no answer for it. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people, whether you're an investor looking for funding, you're a wholesaler, or whatever it is, y'all don't know your numbers. And this is why you guys don't get deals. All right, so what do I mean by knowing your numbers? Well, first, understand what can you realistically get for the property that you're trying to market. Okay? You cannot just assume because wishful thinking, or I don't even know what you guys base your prices on, to be honest. But it isn't on comps, it isn't on recency, it isn't on anything really, but whatever. But the point of this, you can't just assume that you can get this high price. If you haven't been in this business long enough, then I can understand why you may be confused. Okay, well, I'm not sure what I can get for this property. And I get that. Totally understand that. But in general, if you want to know, and this is what I tell a lot of my new people, right, so you can understand what you can really get for the property, go to your favorite online marketplace, Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. Type in the area that the property you're interested in is located, and then sort it from prices low to high. Land Watch as well. That's a good one. Sort from low to high. You will see the cheapest property you can get in that area. Assume that you will have to sell your property around that price or even less. Yep, I'm not talking about property that is really cheap, as in it's super tiny and yours is big. I'm talking about something similar to yours. All right, so that's the key here. Now, when I sort things from low to high, basically the lowest price to highest price, so the lowest price is the top of the list, I get to see what do consumers see when they're going and they're shopping for land. So even if I have, let's just say for the sake of argument, I have a 1 acre property that I'm interested in, but the cheapest property I see is a third of an acre. All right, well, that property is much smaller than mine, and so the prices shouldn't matter, but they do, because the reason why is that shopper or those people, they just see the price. Second, they'll look at the features, the size, and all that. So what you got to do is just assume that whatever the acreage is, or the price per acre for that cheap property, it applies to your property. There are certain circumstances, but I'm assuming you're new at this, so I'm not going to go into that, just so I won't confuse you. But assume that it ain't calculated on that, and assume you got to, advertise it for slightly less than what you see the cheapest property is. Now, if you're buying a property that's cheap already, and you only can assume you can sell it for like $1,800, and you see a bunch of properties selling for 18, 17, 16, it's a race to the bottom. It's going to be hard to kind of get a wholesale deal in that, but why would you need a wholesale deal in that? I don't know what I'm talking about this. Okay, anyways, first thing I said, know your numbers, know how much you can realistically get the property for. Next, once you know that, understand the actual features of the property, meaning Is it flat? Is it hilly? Is it trees? Is it cleared? Is it near a road? If it is near a road, what type of road? As in paved, dirt road, gravel. Maybe it used to be a road, but then now everything is just kind of overgrown. Understand all of that, because when you're advertising this property, not just to the end buyer, but you're trying to get someone to invest with you or sell the contract, they're going to want to know these things. And the more desirable the property, the more likely somebody's going to want to, JV with you, buy the land from you, buy your contract, whatever it is. All right, so you need to know all of those things. Now, it's not enough to just know all of those things. You must also understand, what does your buying audience want. Now, in most cases, we're talking about the regular public who's looking to buy land. But for this particular video, we're talking about people who you want to JV with, right? So we're assuming that the property is high, way out of your price range, but you know it's a good deal. Well, again, the reason why you would want to know all these things about the property is so you can actually market it to somebody to say, hey, you want to get in on this with me because this is a great deal. Why wouldn't you want to make money with me, right? So you want to entice them with all the good things that the property has. That makes sense? All right. Third, this is very important. When you are getting all your information together, you need to format it in a way that makes sense. Now, you have two options, in my opinion. First is a spreadsheet. Now, the spreadsheet isn't as eye-catching, obviously. It's a spreadsheet. However, what you want to do is make sure that you have all the different comps and different numbers to show, hey, these other properties sold for this, and then this one sold for that, and this one sold for that. These properties nearby, same size, same whatever. So therefore, we can get that, and that kind of shows that investor, oh yeah, that's good, right? Or the second thing you can do is, instead of just having a spreadsheet, show them, I guess, a PDF or a Word document that has all the information that you just collected about that property, including photos. So now the investor or the person you want to JV with, they can slowly peruse that information at their leisure. Now, please don't make this too short, but don't make it too long either. What do I mean by too short? Too short? Yeah, it's your favorite rapper. Anyways, what I mean by too short is that you don't want to just have a paragraph or two stating no details or very basic information that doesn't really help that person decide if this is a good investment or not. So you want to have enough detail though, where they can get a good picture about things. Now, what kind of things are they looking for? As I said, by the road and all that, but also add access to power, access to water, access to septic, building restrictions. What would the property be good for, right? So just because it's has a certain level of restriction doesn't mean that it's stuck just for that, or it is zoned for a certain thing that you only can use it for that. Understand what you can do with it. If it's a big property, is it a good candidate for subdividing? Otherwise, if it's not, will it sell at the current size? And if it does sell, what would people want to do with it? All these things that you want to present in a nice, logical way, but that's actually, easier to read. And then with that Word document or PDF that you create, lots and lots of photos. All right. So that's some of the things that you want to do as you start to present that. Now, when you're time to shop it around, best is obviously shopping it to people who you've done business with before. You don't want to, I'm not saying don't, but it's easier to get your foot in the door when you're talking to somebody who you've actually done business with, or they know you personally or something like that. If you're not trying to do that, then there's certain things that you need to do, especially if they're not familiar with land. Most people, to be honest, aren't familiar with land. So not only will you have to make this nicer, Word doc or PDF, but here's the things that you're looking to do in general. In that PDF or that Word document, or just in a conversation, first thing you got to let them know is how the land business works. Most people don't get it. When they hear real estate investing, they're thinking, single family rentals, or getting a duplex or triplexes. Some people are thinking about commercial real estate. This is stuff that people normally do. Maybe fix and flips. Some people may have heard of wholesaling. Stuff that people heard of, but they may not know much about, but they're at least familiar with those terms. When you say land investing, what comes to mind for a lot of people is like, oh, you're buying a plot of land, You're holding it for 30 years and you're hoping things happen in the area so your land becomes more valuable. When you're like, gotta explain, like, no, that's not how it works. I can buy a property today, sell it tomorrow for its actual price. The key is me getting it for super cheap, right? So that's the first thing. Let them know how it works. Let them know how easy it is. Second thing you need to show that person, your past deals. It's one thing to say this is how the land investing works, right? We all know how a lot of things work. Don't mean we know how to do it or we're good at it or that it's practical, right? So what you're going to have to do is show them your past deals and be like, hey, this property was this size. I bought it for this price. I sold it for this price. I only needed X amount of days to sell it. This other property over here, different area, or it could be the same area, doesn't matter. Just show your portfolio. Bought it for this, held it for this much, or sold, took me this long to sell it. I sold it for this much. Here's my profit. Here's the expenses, here's the profit. You want to do that as much as you can to prove the concept that I'm not just talking about stuff or wishful thinking. I actually know what I'm doing, and I've proven it by making money. And Mr. or Mrs. Investor, the reason why I'm talking to you is because, well, I got a new deal on my plate that I cannot handle on my own. Maybe I have too many deals in progress and I'm waiting for some of that money to come back. Or maybe it's just so big that I'm going to need help taking it down. Either way, you need to show people, especially people who aren't used to land, which is most people, your past progress, your track record to show that you're reliable, you know what you're doing, and you've done this before. All right? And then the next thing you want to show them, to show your credibility, show your track record, show them what deals you do have in the pipe. Now, if it's just this one mega deal, okay, you're about to show them the Word document or whatever we talked about a minute ago. But if it wasn't, let's say you got some other smaller deals going on and you're letting them go, let them know what's happening. Let them know who you're negotiating with, even if you haven't bought that property yet. Let them know about the properties you do have in inventory that you're looking to sell and the different interest you're getting on that. Or if you're not getting any interest, how you drum up interest, right? Because everything's not going to be rainbows. You don't want to make the investor think you're going to get them their money back in seconds when sometimes it takes a while. And I'll explain why in a moment, right? But again, you want to show them what you have in the pipe, show them what you got going on, let them know that, hey, I'm not just doing it for this one deal. This is what I do. This is how I make money. I just saw a good opportunity to partner up for whatever reason. And Mr. or Mrs. Investor, I wanted to include you, right? Give you the right of first refusal, whatever it is. Now, why do you want them to understand realistically the time frame for some of these land lots? Well, again, since these aren't land people, they are going to bitch and complain when things don't happen in a moment's notice, right? You don't want a phone call every 2 days. Hey, did you sell the property? Hey, what's going on with the property? Did you hear about this? Oh, I heard some gloom and doom in the news. We got to be careful. No. You don't want that. Now, the person you're dealing with, you guys done business before many times, they're not going to do that. Or if they're a land person themselves, they're not going to do that. They get the game. But again, most people that you're going to look to partner with probably aren't in the land game. So you got to help them understand that, hey, man, sometimes these things take a while. You can tell them what I always say, and I tell you guys. All land sells, but it may not sell on your timeline or your time frame. I could, whatever makes sense. But in general, you're going to make money on the deal. How much just depends on a lot of factors, and how soon that happens, again, depends on a lot of factors. Some of those factors are within your control. Like, did you do a good job negotiating down the price, or are you being very aggressive with your marketing to get the parcel out there, let people know you got it for sale? Things like that. Those things are in your control. Other things that are not in your control is like, a global pandemic, a recession. Maybe zoning is changing for the area and people are kind of waiting and seeing, which I don't see that happening. But, whatever. There's certain things that are out of your control. And you just want that investor to understand while you are doing your best to sell it because, you got skin in the game too, some things just take time. All right? Now, one last thing to consider. And this is before you even show them that PDF or that Word doc that you put together all about the property, how great it is, pictures of it and all that. Understand what you really need from a partner. Some people just need money and they need the other partner to be quiet and stay out the way. Others need somebody to help them with marketing. Others need them to kind of talk them off the wall when things aren't going as well as they would like. Just calm them down, maybe offer a little accountability to do the things that they need to do. Now, I think accountability and all that is a little much. That's for, a coach like me to help you with that. But sometimes having that deal visible between you and that partner keeps you on your toes. So they may not know they're talking you off the wall or they're keeping you accountable, but you know because the fact that you got this person's money and you don't want to lose it for whatever reason. It could be because they're a close family or friend, or you just don't want your track record to be tarnished. It could be that too. Now, think about what capacity you want to work with that person for or with, and then understand who would be the best people to actually present this property to. Next, you're going to go out and make a list of those people. You can easily, if you just go through your Facebook feed, your Facebook friends, you can easily think of 10 people who have the money right now, or who can get the money, who can be a funder for your for your business, or for that one particular property. You probably can do it right now. You may have to think a little bit, challenge yourself. All right, but once you do that, present them like, hey, Mr. Investor, hey, I got an opportunity. I'd love to talk to you about it. Let's grab lunch. Right? Hopefully, this is a friend. You're being casual with them, and you're grabbing lunch. And again, you're telling about the land business, like I said before. You're saying how well you're doing. Eventually, if you do this right, they're going to want to know more about that and like, oh, how can I get involved? Maybe they'll want you to show them the business, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need to show you the business. I just want you to. I actually got a deal that I can't handle, but I think it'll be great if we teamed up, right? So it's not just you. We both got skin in the game, and whatever that skin is, it could be your sweat equity and their capital. You guys can go in it, joint venture, and you both put money in the deal. Whatever, you guys will figure it out. But once you do that, you show them the numbers, you show them the comps, you show them your nice little PDF with all the things in it, which may have the spreadsheet data inside of it. Maybe it's 2 different files, whatever it is. And you give them the estimate, like I think based on these other comps and how long it took for them to sell, we can sell in roughly the same price, same time. This is what I'm about to get it for. I'm going to try and get it a little bit less, but this is it. You do that, you have a higher chance of getting someone to fund some of these deals, because not only do people understand what you're getting them into, but it looks like you know what you're doing. You're a credible professional. All right, so let this be a lesson to any of you guys who try to JV with me. Y'all be trying to slide in my DMs with no information, no facts, nothing to entice me to the deal, right? And you're just expecting me to just buy just because you got some contract. Get out of here. Get out of here. Y'all tripping. All right. Well, I'll keep it short. Keep it right to the point. We watched this a couple of times. So next time when you're out looking for funding or a JV deal, you're going to be ahead of the curve. You look like a professional, you will be treated like a professional. You look like a random make money online wannabe, then that's how you're going to be treated. And that's probably why you're not getting any results, or it's a lot harder to get JV deals than it was or it should be. All right. Well, that's it. Coach Vic signing out. Glad to try this new format with you. Let me know how it works. If you like this pre-recorded type of deal, let me know. Also, if you are looking to get funding or you are looking to get a coach, I am your man. Now, I don't just fund anybody. You got to be in my group. And if you want to be in my group, you got to apply, right? You got to be serious about this. You got to be ready to learn. You got to be hungry for it, because I'm very thorough and exhaustive when it comes to teaching this. So if you're not ready to put in that work, that sweat equity, and you don't have any money to invest in land, don't bother. I ain't for you. Go ahead and buy a $10 course and pretend that you're going to do something with it. But if you're actually ready to make real money, holla at your boy. I'll be glad to hook you up. All right, that's it, Coach Vic. Peace out.